And we are back for another casual conversation with the classic, and I'm here with none other than Mr. SlickLiving himself, Khleo Thomas. This is long overdue. How are we doing?
It is very long overdue, man. I'm feeling amazing, and I'm so glad to be able to connect with you and talk about the thing that brought us together, not only in life, but things that we like really genuinely care about, which is, of course, everything going on when it
I
comes
love
to the
these.
circle.
I love getting people on here that are kind of outside of professional wrestling, but like also love professional wrestling and doing other things. But they're like I think even though you've talked about it so much on your Instagram, you showed that you love pro wrestling. You just put a video out like a couple of days ago about that Chris Jericho moment, and we'll talk all about that. But it's like there'll still be people that are gonna be like, "What? Khleo Thomas likes wrestling?" Like people still get shocked.
That's what I
And
love about it, though. That's what I
yeah,
love about that. It's like it's become this entryway to meeting new people, and it's like, oh my god, you're into the same thing, and you could just immediately nerd out about that. And that's like
yeah.
really like like my whole. You see my room, bro. Like it's dedicated to freaking gaming, and anime, and cartoons. So it's everything here.
And it's so cool, like how social media has created that for fandoms. Where like when people ask me like, "Why'd you make the page?" I always give the same three reasons. My ex girlfriend wanted me to have Instagram, so I made a wrestling page. I wanted to connect wrestling fans from all around the world. But another like the third reason was always like also like I miss talking about wrestling with people. My circle of friends in real life didn't really watch it that much anymore. And I remember the days of role playing on MSNE groups or like being on forums and fighting with people that I missed that I wanted to create a space like that and connect with other wrestling fans, which I did. And I think you've done that really well over different fandoms, like so many different fandoms.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
found a way to be part of the video game space, the anime space, the new really popular superhero space, and also wrestling. And we're gonna talk about your love for wrestling and all of that. Long overdue. We've known each other since I think like 2017 now,
Yeah,
16 maybe.
yeah.
Um, I recently just came across that clip where I took over SlickLiving and had Jinder on there.
Oh, I remember that. Yo, that's right.
And that
Shout out
was
to Mahal.
2017 because he was the world champion.
Yes, that is correct. Wow, you just brought back a crazy memory. Yeah, beautiful
Yeah,
moment. Beautiful moment.
because I was telling you off the air about how I've been growing my YouTube, and I figured I have all this content from throughout the years since like 2017, 16 of like going to shows, like entrances, and all the stuff that I'm allowed to post on there. And I was like, I posted that on there too because I'm like, oh, I forgot. Like, I have this clip of you being like, holy crap! Not only did he take over Slick Living, but he's got the WWE champion.
You gotta love this. This is what this world is about, bro. The crazy moment for sure. For sure,
Yeah,
crazy moment.
isn't it crazy though? Like how and I think we can relate on this now that I think about that. It's like how much we've tried different things to make them stick or like to go with the times. Like that was a thing I did back in the day too, where I'd let people take over my Snapchat if they went to live wrestling shows, and I'm like,
Yeah,
take over my Snapchat and give the experience. Tell
yeah.
me that really quickly before we get into the rest. Like, how important is it to like adapt to social media and to continue to see what the trends are and what's going on and do what's important?
Very important to adapt, man. You know, I came into the business of entertainment at what I would like to say is like the final era of the golden age of Hollywood rules, right? Um, as soon as social media hit, it changed everything. The moment I started realizing that, a live stream, like on Ustream back in the day, I had a Ustream deal, like maybe the first year within that company being out, because I saw the power that it would end up having.
Yeah,
No longer would the studios or the networks or a label be able to create a star simply because they said so. You could do that from your freaking couch. You could do that from your bedroom now, just by having a personality and understanding how to entertain. So that was in the first era of this new generation of entertainment. Here we are now, man, with all these different platforms and so many different ways to entertain people and tell a story and keep people engaged. And it's very interesting for me because I remember when like managers would tell me like, Cleo, like you talk and you're into too many things, like we got to be able to like keep a lane for you. And of course I understood their messaging and why they wanted to do it that way, but it would always work against me. And it's just beautiful to see that because I stayed true to myself and the things that I genuinely enjoy doing and loving, like you said, wrestling, like anime and cartoons and cosplay and superhero stuff. Like I get a chance to now speak about all these things and genuinely have a fun time doing it. And I've been able to monetize my fun, and that means a lot to me.
I think that's a big part too, because I've actually gone through that struggle a couple times in the past 10 years of doing the wrestling classic of like I was doing something, it was working, and then I took some other people's advice of what they thought I should be doing better, and it stunted my growth a little bit at times. And then I had to go back to doing what being true to myself and what I want to do, and that's what works. Where do you find where like there's it's like do you test things or like where do you say this is good advice or that's bad advice?
Ooh, good question, man. You know, I've lived a very experienced life up to this point, man. Like I
Yeah.
just turned, I'm 35 now, but I've had a spotlight on me since I was 13. All right. So once you do films and then you go on tour with Bow Wow and then you make your own music and then you tour your own music and then you create this social media stuff and then like all of the rules that help make I think stars back in the day, a lot of those rules don't apply to where we are today. So when it comes to like advice, like I really do be sticking to what I feel is best for me. Like comfort, like if I make a decision, this is what I'm doing because I want to do it. I don't tend to take a lot of advice, and that's not a bad thing. I don't or it's not me saying that I'm not always open to learning, but if it applies to what I have genuinely built by myself, I gotta trust my gut instinct at all times because it got me here. And I like you hearing other people's stuff and then seeing that thing hit a wall, I'm like, never again.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like based on someone's opinion, or they're like, you got to do less of this and more of that, and it just I'm like, oh, now it's just nothing's happening. Where when I was doing what I was doing, we were growing, things were happening. I will say one of the best pieces of advice, and I share this in every podcast I go on, one that I got from you, was the just start thing. I remember exactly where I was. I was 2019. I was working with my brother, and I called you, and I'm like, I need to get out of here. I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, I need like a studio and I need this. And you're like, why do you need all that? Like, just start and then you'll get that stuff eventually. And I'm like, oh, like I just gotta be a perfectionist and I wanted it to look and be a certain way. But you're right. I just started and things started falling in line. And the more you do it, the better you get eventually. Like if you watch my earlier interviews, they're probably pretty bad compared to now. But that's one piece of advice that I will say I did take from you and I carry with me and I pass on. So there are pieces of advice you can take, and sometimes it's just the little nuggets, not the full change your entire personality and flow of things, but how to
Yeah.
do things. Yeah. Hey, yo, have you guys heard about 500 Level? They make officially licensed WWE merchandise, and I actually have been working with them on a couple of designs. A design that I worked on recently was with a girl named Caitlin, who's a big Dakota Kai fan, and we designed this new Dakota Kai shirt, which you can get exclusively now at 500 Level. Once again, officially licensed with the WWE. Really wanted a new Dakota Kai shirt. Got this one designed and made, and it's on the website now, on sale now, 500level.com. Guys, join their partnership program. You get discounts the more shirts you buy, 10%, 20%, 30%. You earn points and you get a discount. They have OG shirts, guys. I had to re-up on my NWO shirts on 500 Level, the comfortable material if you get the premium shirts, but even the non-premium is super comfortable. I got NWO shirts, they got Shawn Michaels shirts. You can find some of your favorite wrestlers on there. You can find none other than guys like Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Check out this shirt. It's a sweet, sweet shirt, everybody. 500level.com. Like I said, they have the NWO stuff. And if you're like a big NXT fan, they got shirts for all of your favorite NXT wrestlers. And if they don't, let me know and I'll make sure we get some shirts made for your favorite NXT wrestler. I went to go support my girl, Carmen Petrovic. You guys can check out our casual conversation on my YouTube channel. You can check out mine and Carmen Petrovic's casual conversation. But 500 Level had a Carmen Petrovic shirt. I had to go support my fellow Canadian and the homie Carmen Petrovic, guys. 500level.com, guys. Check them out. Get premium, officially licensed WWE shirts that you cannot find on WWE shop all the time. They have a huge selection on their website also for MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL. They got shirts for everything, but their wrestling selection is insane. Custom creative designs. Maybe I can work together with someone out there that is an editor that wants to put more designs on the website. Hit me up. 500level.com. Check them out and keep doing the thing. I want to talk about wrestling, but I want to talk about a bunch of stuff you did because you brought up a bunch of stuff you've done outside of wrestling. It's been over 20 years since you were Zero in Holes.
Yeah.
Does it still trip you out that people, and I've seen it over the years on social media when people dress up like Holes characters on Halloween, when people do all this stuff, like, does it still shock you that that movie still has that much of an impact all this time?
It's a blessing, and let me tell you why that is. It's a blessing because Holes is a film that's based on a book that is still in a lot of required reading curriculums in schools. So for 20 plus years now, kids have read the book, and if the teachers are willing, they'll let the kids watch the movie right after they complete the book. So for 20 years, I've been plugged
Oh,
into the school system. 20 years when it comes to relevancy and connecting, I've had the cheat code because I'm built into the school system. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So you got to think like
yeah,
kids nowadays, they're picking up their phone immediately. They're looking for the memes. They're looking the that's too damn bad thing is like viral on TikTok every single year. And then they're discovering Khleo Thomas, who played the character Zero, and then they find out that he streams, he hosts, he does video games. Like what is all this? So I'm very grateful for it because it's given me, like I mentioned, a hack when it comes to the topic of relevancy, right? But also, like I take the extra step to, if there's any teachers out there who do what I just said as far as like letting the kids read the book and then watch the movie, I make the effort to virtually visit the classrooms because when I was growing up, if Neo or Keanu Reeves jumped up and all of a sudden wanted to talk to my class, I would have freaked out. So I love the fact that I get a chance to do that, especially in this era, in this age, because of the technology we have. And I mean, why not? And what better actor slash character to talk to the kids after reading the book and watching the movie, especially about education, than the character Zero, who couldn't read or write in the film. So I'm very, very grateful for it, man. And it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't shock me. It's one of those films that I'm very glad to have on the resume because it survived the test of time. Certain things could go, it doesn't hit the same, but this film has entertained generations. And let's be real, like it's a Disney distributed movie, but
yeah,
it's not a traditional Disney film. Like there's a lot of hard stuff in there. Okay. There's racist stuff in there. There's the whole the prison system as far as how it's looked at. It's a lot, bro. And
yeah.
it stands the test of time, brother. And I'm very grateful for it.
That is insane. I never thought of it like that. It's basically The Outsiders for like the new generation. You know, because you read The Outsiders and you find out there's a movie and you go watch it. Now, not just in The Outsiders, I'm still a big fan of the movie, but that might be an older movie to some of the young kids now.
For sure.
Holes is still relatively new, right? Like, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah, 2
2003,
years.
right? Rather than
Yeah.
watching a movie from the 1980s. So like I can see how that makes sense, but it's literally the same thing. And then that is super cool. Imagine watching or reading The Outsiders, watching the movie, and then like Rob Lau or Tom Cruise shows up in your classroom. You'd be like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, man. I
You
love
know,
doing
like,
it. I love doing it, man.
that's
And
super cool.
these kids come with great questions. And what I love about it is it's showing me how advanced the next generation is, because they're asking questions based off of like the world that they live in and how much they've already like taken in and internalized. Like they're asking stuff about the stunts, they're asking stuff about the lizards. Like, was that AI? I'm like, first of all, when I was growing up, this was called CGI. You're calling
Yeah.
it AI now? Yeah, we're close. We're close to
Yeah.
Terminator time.
How's your relationship with the rest of the cast, though? Do you still talk to a lot of them still, or are you guys still connected?
Yeah. We just had the 20-year anniversary celebration last year, and it was the first time all of us had got together to watch the movie again and with a crowd. So since the movie premiered 20 years ago, so that was amazing. The director Andrew Davis, he just had a celebratory thing for himself in Santa Barbara because he lives out there, and there's this 100-year-old movie theater that's out there in Santa Barbara. So him and Robert Zemeckis had their films played to celebrate their careers there. So Andy gives me a call. He's like, "Hey, we're doing this thing. I'd love for you to come." I said, "Absolutely." I drove up to Santa Barbara, and it was beautiful because there were kids and adults there. So the kids or the adults that were there, watched it when they were kids, and now some of them have their children there to watch it and have that experience. So the
Yeah.
Q&A was amazing. The writer of the book, Louis Sacker, was there. And yeah, beautiful. And to answer your question, are we all still connected? Yeah, man. Miguel Castro, who played Magnet, he lives in LA, still connected. Byron Cotton, who played Armpit, still connected. Big shout to my man he works for the Mets now, who played Squid, and of course Shia, man. It was beautiful to see him at the 20-year anniversary. For him to show up and give his love to Andy in that way was beautiful.
That's awesome. This is probably gonna come out this week or it's gonna come out next week, but we have to talk about it because it's on social media. I've popped for the Scar Halloween costume. You've been calling yourself the Halloween Ken. I've seen you as Jafar. I've seen you as Powerline. Like, I need you to. I know this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be a tough question. I need you to like top 5 Halloween costumes of your own. You got to rank them. I'm gonna
Ooh,
put you on the
man.
spot right now because you've
Yeah,
done
man.
some killer stuff.
This Scar one came up crazy because, like,
Lion King is my favorite Disney movie. That was my movie. I think that was the first movie I saw as a kid in theaters. Like
wow.
that's my jam. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's an all-time classic. It's such
Yeah.
a, and the characters and the voices and the music. So the how Scar came to be, Twitch hits me up and they're like, "Hey, we had this opportunity. We're gonna do this thing with Disney Plus, and we're gonna do something for Halloween. If you wanted to dress up, who would you want to be?" And I was like, either Scar, and I don't even remember the second option I gave them, but I was like, if we do Scar, I want to do it like this. And I sent him this reference photo of a friend of mine. He drew it. His name is Marco, aka Masterminds Connect, and he drew like these humanoid versions of Lion King characters. So there's a Mufasa one, there's a Scar,
I remember.
Saraji.
I've seen them. Yeah.
Great art. I used that as the reference, so I sent that to them, and then I didn't hear from them for like a month. And the day before we're supposed to go do this Twitch stream, we have a tech check, and I'm like, "Hey, like, what, do I dress up? What are we doing?" He was like, "Oh yeah, no, everyone's gonna be. We're gonna send the crew to your house tomorrow, and they're making you Scar." I had no clue. 24 hours before we go live. So then they show up, the seamstress, the makeup artist, the hair, everything, and turn me into that. And seeing the reaction of it, I love it because it once again helped me solidify how hard I go for Halloween.
Yeah.
So Scar is battling out for number one with Powerline for me right now.
Yeah.
It's a great reaction. So we got to go Scar, then we'll go Powerline. I did Spider Klee last year because it was and we did a whole fight scene. I absolutely loved pulling that together. After that, I've got two more this year. I've got two more dropping, but this is coming out afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you because it's coming out afterwards.
It's coming after the 31st. Yeah.
Perfect. So I got two more Halloween costumes dropping this year. So Scar was one, and then if you're familiar with a video game called Helldivers, me and my three friends, my brother and two of our friends got some armor built. So we did a whole Helldivers thing. It looks amazing. The armor looks beautiful. And then Kingdom Hearts, one of my all-time favorite video games.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. There's a picture that came out in like 2018. Someone drew it, and it's Sora, Donald, and Goofy looking at Stanley and Zero.
Yeah.
Because, those characters visit Disney worlds. So someone drew it like, yo, it would have been cool if those three went and visited Camp Green Lake or something. So I saw this photo again just this year, and I asked my little sister to design me a Keyblade if it was like based off of holes. And she made this incredible piece, man. It has like a yellow spotted lizard on it. It has like the sploosh and the actual handle. Crazy. We 3D printed it. I have it. And I was like, we need to shoot something. So the star of that isn't Mia Zero. The star of that Halloween piece, which will be dropping, is the Keyblade, as if it was from Kingdom Hearts and Holes.
That's insane. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And by the time this out, everyone will see it, and this will make a cool clip for social media. But we'll definitely check that out, dude. And immediately when I saw that Scar, I thought about those drawings. I'm like, it looks like that Scar in the drawing, those human Lion King characters. Right off the bat, that's what I got. Like the crazy. So tell me about this, because like with Powerline, you don't just like create a Halloween costume and take some really good pictures. Like you do like a whole production. You did the whole Powerline music video. Like,
yeah,
was that just like because you really wanted to do it and check that off your bucket list, or what was going
on? Yeah, that's literally what it was. That was a dream come true moment for me. I remember when I watched the Goofy movie for the very first time. I was in elementary school, and it was a rainy day, and the teacher rolled in the TV on the cart and put the VHS tape in, and we watched the first half of it, and we had to wait till the next day to watch the second half. But the moment that always stood out to me was when Max took over the auditorium, and my auditorium in my elementary school looked just like his. So in our reality, that's the origin story of me wanting to be an entertainer and seeing that reaction from the school and the crowd. So I always dreamed of doing it. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. So here we are. We're in 2020. We're in the lockdown, and I tell my Twitch community, it was like, yeah, too bad we're in the pandemic, because if we weren't, I would have did something cool for Halloween. My chat's like, what would you have done? I was like, I would have did Powerline, but I would have done it like this. When we see Powerline at the end of the movie, he's already a successful artist. That means he already had several singles that went double, triple platinum, and he sold out an arena. So that means he's on tour. But in order to get to that, we have to back it up a bit and be like, what were the music videos for that single that helped Powerline become the star that he is today? So I told my chat I would shoot a music video for Eye to Eye. And they reacted away, and then they asked me how much the budget would be. And I called my friends who helped me bring it together. I presented the budget to my Twitch community, and they funded that entire project in just a week. The custom outfit, the custom outfits for the backup dancers, the choreographer, renting the space, everything. That was all funded by my amazing Twitch community.
Let's talk about that for a second, because you brought them up a couple of times. Let's talk about your Twitch community. When did you start it? Where can people find it? And why is it so important to you? Because like in the last 3 questions I've asked you, like it's somehow we got a reference back to your Twitch community. so tell me about this relationship with Twitch. Like, how did this start? Because I think even when we first met, I don't think you necessarily were doing Twitch yet in like 2017, 18. I think that started after. Yeah, and then I've jumped into some streams. I've hung out. I've watched you play some games, or just like talk to the people, do some box openings and stuff. But it's been rocking hard for you since like the pandemic almost.
Yeah, what it really is it leads back to that first question you had asked as far as adapting. Being very, very adapting with the times. So I had started my Twitch during the lockdown because right before we went in, I was getting ready to have my own late night talk show. I sat with a network and I pitched them on the idea of like, we don't have a modern day Arsenio Hall. We don't have someone who can speak for the culture, who's young, who can connect on both sides of the aspects, who does have the tools and was trained in the more industry space, but has been able to adapt and can connect with the youth. So we're getting ready to shoot the pilot the second week of April in 2020. And then all that goes away. So all the ideas I had as far as the live in studio audience and being able to do these really cool things, that's all gone now because everyone's locked up. So the first 2 months of us being in the pandemic, I studied Twitch, bro. I had still have the notepad in the other room. I studied it. I studied the biggest guys and the smallest guys and everyone in between, because I was like, this is a platform that's been here. It's about gaming, but I don't see anyone who looks like me doing something else. Everyone plays video games. Beautiful. So do I. But no one is doing something a bit more, a bit different. So I studied it. And then by the 3rd month of the pandemic, I launched my Twitch channel completely done. Like, I didn't just launch it and just try it. Like, no, I did the emotes, I did the overlays, I did the transit, everything. So that way when it launched, it looked like how it was supposed to.
Yeah.
So it's been an amazing build, and I just combined all my ideas that I have for the talk show and my love for gaming, combined the two, and I've been running it like that ever since, man. And I'm very, very grateful for the space to be able to create live and make moments happen.
It's crazy. You kind of created your own talk show.
Bingo.
Yeah, you kind of just said, all right, I'm going to take this in my own hands. I have my own audience, and I'm just going to do it over here. And that's super cool. What is your Twitch channel for people that don't know?
Twitch.tv/@Khleo Thomas. Anybody out there, if you don't know this by now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And any single time there's ever a new platform that pops up, even if it's a small chance that it will work, go and secure your name. Secure your handle. There's people out there who still don't do that. You're at Jake47 on this one, then at the real Jake47 over here. You can't do that. Yeah. Make sure align everything. So at Khleo Thomas across the board on all social media platforms.
I have my Twitch secured. The hardest one was Twitter because it wouldn't let me make it longer. I couldn't do the Wrestling Classic, right. and I couldn't even do Wrestling Classic. I couldn't do either one because it's too long. So I was like, I had to go with TWC. Well, I'm like, this sucks. Everything else secured. I'm looking behind you. You got a bunch of cool stuff behind you. Like I said, I watched a lot of your box openings and stuff like that. Like, what's your most valuable possession? What's the most valuable thing you got here?
In this room alone?
Like, if there was a fire about to go down, what are you saving first? Hey. That's not personal, family related. Like, and in terms of like memorabilia collectible, like what's the thing you're saving first? Because obviously, like photo albums and family stuff and personal stuff, gifts you got from people you care about, that's different. But like out of like collectible thing that you got received as like to do with promo or etc., like what's the thing you're saving first?
All right, so I'm gonna give you like the maybe the top 3 or top 5 in the room very quickly. The DreamCon 2023 championship I won for beating the hell out of everybody in Mortal Kombat, dressed up as Powerline. That's got to come with me. that 100,000 subscriber YouTube plaque because it took me forever to get it. You're gonna get yours. You're gonna get yours way faster than I got mine. I'm telling you right now.
I started my YouTube in 2016 as 2024, but to be fair, I only started using it properly this last couple of years. So yeah,
2009 is when I started mine. I got that last year. So you're gonna get yours way quicker than I get mine. Trust me.
Fair.
So that's two. My third thing, my mom got me this for my birthday last year. And you're gonna be the first person to see this outside of when I have talked to the students. I'm gonna show this to you really quick. My mom went and got my actual jumpsuit from Holes, like immortalized.
No way, that's so cool.
So
that's cool.
The hat, the placard for the actual premiere, the shovel signed by the entire cast, the book, everything. Like she went and made this for me for last year as for a birthday gifts. It's completely heavy. Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, brother.
No, 100. Like if you had to save something, I would save that. I would.
Oh yeah, that's priceless.
Yeah,
we
got 3.
That's 3. My next thing, I'll probably have to grab one of these, man. Thrill Joy. If you haven't heard, I am co-owner of a brand new collectible company called Thrill Joy, and this is one of the first items that dropped. This is the Pix figure for an anime called Blue Eyed Samurai on Netflix. Absolutely love it. We're the first people to drop merch on this, so really cool to have it. That's number 4, and then 5th final thing to grab out of here. My Comic-Con placard. That was a dream come true. Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con is right down the way. I live in LA. It's 2 hours away. But I promised myself, I made a goal to myself that I would never attend Comic-Con unless I was invited to be a part of the experience as a entertainer, as a host, something.
Yeah.
And it finally happened. So that Comic-Con placard means a lot to me.
That's awesome.
That's my name on it.
There you go. Those are the best things, though. You know what I mean? Those are the best ones where you wait to do something, you finally get your own placard. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
And San Diego Comic-Con, like that's the biggest Comic-Con of the year. That's the one everyone always talks about and wants to be at. So, living so close to it and waiting till you actually got invited to go, like that's a lot of commitment and dedication. It's 2 hours away. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, the Wrestling Classic here, guys. I want to let you guys know that there's a limited edition Wrestling Classic tee. I'm wearing it right now, but I got to show you the back because it's in collaboration with none other than HQ Clothing, guys. It says Conquered in the back because that's what we do out here, conquering it every day, guys. Wear this shirt, remember to conquer it, do the thing, keep doing the thing. HQ Clothing, Headquarters Clothing, limited edition Wrestling Classic shirts. There's only like 70 left. There's only 100 printed. Make sure you get them before they're gone. I truly, truly, truly appreciate your support. Conquer it. Get it now. Put the link in the description below. Let's talk about wrestling. We're going to get into wrestling now. Let's talk about
let's get it.
What the people want to hear. What were your earliest memories of professional wrestling?
Earliest memories of professional wrestling, man. Growing up in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Watching DX, Stone Cold, Rock, Undertaker, Kane, Edge and Christian, Hardys, the Dudleys, Tajiri. That's my first early memories of that realm, man. And then me and my brother Kadeem begging our parents to order our first pay-per-view, which was WrestleMania 14, I want to say. When was Mike Tyson the special guest referee?
14. You're
14.
Right.
We begged our parents, that's when we were sold. We only cared and watched wrestling. We just wanted to watch Raw. So we watched this whole build up, and then WrestleMania is coming up, and we are begging our parents. We had a basketball game that same day. We finished the game, and me and my brother beat our mom and dad to the car to get us hurry up and drive us home so we could watch that pay-per-view, man.
That's insane. This is funny, like that era specifically. Like I look back at it now, and like I like your parents didn't really want you to watch because it was like not the best. It wasn't PG at all. And I'm like, yo, so much of that stuff flew over my head. Like I was a kid, like I liked the wrestling. I didn't know what the holes were, or what Val Venus's character was, or why I thought it was funny he came out in a towel. Like, is he naked under there? But like I never knew what was going on. Like I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't get it. I was like under 10 years old at that point, but I was just a big wrestling fan. And like to go back and watch it, and that's so funny because that happens with a lot of things. Like we referenced the Lion King earlier, like, and then you go back and you watch as an adult, and some of the jokes hit different, or like the seriousness of the story. Like you're like, oh, this, like, you know, like now this stuff hits different because I'm an adult and I have life experiences. I'm like, oh, this movie, like our parents probably enjoyed watching this with us, and we were just like cartoon lions fighting, like, funny hyenas, but like it was like wrestling. Like we didn't get it. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. I think that's, and I also think that's a lost art in the new generation of entertainment. You know, I remember a lot, as you're mentioning it, there's so many little innuendos and little jokes that flew over kids' heads. Because you got to remember, it was parents taking kids to see the movies, so they figured out how to entertain both. You know, like if you would be entertained as a parent there. But then with wrestling, I can understand, because you got to remember, like, let's really think about what raised our generation for a second. We had the Attitude Era of Raw, or of WWF. We had Jerry Springer, and we had South Park. Those were the three things that just seemed to just encompass all of the craziest time of that era to me.
It's so crazy because the beginning of the 90s and the end of the 90s were like, there's some crazy turn that happened in like 96, 97, 98, 99 in pop culture and society. Like there's the Jerry Springer stuff, the grunginess of like Nirvana, the hip hop battle, like everything just got so extreme and you just couldn't avoid it. You had politicians like Bill Clinton and things happening there. Like society just went crazy.
Wildin' eras for sure.
Well, like the first half was all like colorful and playful and like, you know, colors like Saved by the Bell, and the next thing you know, it was like dark, glooming. Look at the real world. We're gonna take off this mask and show you what's under here.
But that proves like just how it goes. You gotta have both. It's a yin and yang. You gotta have both.
What was the first event you went to live?
First event I went to live, I think I won tickets from the radio station out here, Power 106. I won tickets at like some event they had at the LA Zoo, and it was a house show. And the reason I remember it was a house show, like I didn't understand that as a kid, but when I grew up and look back, I was like, oh, that must have been a house show. The reason why is because the stage was so small. Like it wasn't like what I saw on TV. So we get to the arena and I'm like, where's the pyro? Where's the fireworks? None of that. And I remember Undertaker came out and I had on a white t-shirt and I tried to draw Undertaker. I tried to like write the name out, and I'm in the nosebleeds. And as he's coming out, the gongs hit. And I'm like, oh, I took my hoodie off. And I'm trying to like write Undertaker and hold up my shirt from the nosebleed section. Wow. I remember my uncle just looking at me like, what are you doing?
I feel you, man. I remember going to WrestleMania 19 and was sitting like in the nosebleeds, and I'm like, this is like, I was acting like everything I was cheering or anything I was yelling, they were gonna hear me. And it's like that was like we were in a baseball stadium. It's insane. Who were your favorites growing up then? Who were the people that you were like, those are my guys? Like if you were to give me top 5.
Oh man, if I could give you my top 5, it's Rock and Stone Cold, but that's really a 1A and B for me, because just what they meant to that time. There was nothing like it when those guys were in the same ring, the promos, the moments that they've had with each other, like the even not with each other, just separately and going into other feuds. Like, so that's 1A and 1B for me, Rock and Stone Cold. Number 2 on my list, I got to go Chris Jericho, just because of what I mentioned to you and what I put out there. Like the build up for Jericho's debut, I think was so perfectly executed. There was nothing like it. If you look at my brand today, there's so much I've pulled from that. The static in some of my edits, even when I went and performed the Dig It song for the very first time last year for Holes, I made it to where the projector staticked out Madame Zeroni as she's talking, and that's simply just pulled from Chris Jericho's intro. So that guy means a lot to me because of his moveset, his moments, his back and forth with Stephanie McMahon. He was always disrespecting her like crazy. He's the first undefeated champion. He's my guy. I love Jericho. After that, I gotta go Shawn Michaels, because to me, he's the best in-ring performer of all time. There's nothing like it. If I was a wrestler, I would try to replicate him beat for beat, all of it. all of it. Like there was no flaw. Like I was always intrigued with seeing a Shawn Michaels match, even in his later career. When he came back, he was still freaking amazing. After that, now I might have to start bringing it current. I got to bring it current, man.
Go ahead.
I got to bring it current.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to do that when people ask me. Like, it's hard, but go ahead.
There's so many GOATs right now. They're all amazingly talented, and it's like, this bloodline, drama feud is incredible. Gotta give it to him.
Who is
it? If I gotta go with, I gotta give it to Roman, dog, because it's hard for me not to. We're fans, but we're also in on the business aspect of this, and what this guy has been able to do numbers wise is unlike anything ever been seen in the industry. And he's doing something. Is he doing a lot? Like great? Like no. He has so much draw, and you're just and then we could have never predicted this suffering sucker.
Look how much he overcame. Like you were there. I remember I didn't attend that one, but you were there at WrestleMania 33 when he beat The Undertaker. Everyone was on a high that entire show. Hardy's returned, all this cool stuff happened. Cena proposed, all this stuff. And then Roman beat Undertaker. Nobody was happy. And look where he is now.
It's crazy because we would have never predicted it. Him not winning the Rumble when he was supposed to win, then coming back and then getting booed with the Rock in the ring and the suffering succotash and the microphone and then when Cena got in there, you can't do your job. I was like, that's it. You just buried. That's it. Roman's done. No, he's here, and it's so everything about the package works. Everything. And I can't wait to see where the hell this thing keeps heading out. So Roman's up there for me. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Roman's up there. Is that
Roman
it? Was that it?
No,
you did Rock and Austin. No, you did Austin and Rock 1A, 1B. My bad. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. My last one, bro, is Cena. My last one is really Cena because I love what Cena is able to do when it's his time. It's crazy. The draw and everything is so precise. Nothing feels forced or overly done. It is like this is the John Cena way, and it works within the wrestling world. And then when you see him do interviews, when you see him on promo runs for his projects that are on the entertainment side, like film and television, the guy's just good. When it's all said and done, I hope to have just 10% of the tool set that guy has. The people who know really know how good he really is at this shit. He's really good. Yeah.
The fan in me will always have beef with Cena. The wrestling fan in me.
What?
The human being of me thinks that's the guy everyone should aspire to want to be like in terms of work ethic, professionalism. I look back and I know I wasn't his target audience. I know he had to be the head of an era that was very PG and the flag bearer of an era that I didn't particularly enjoy a lot of. And I think that's where the beef will always come in terms of him as a character. As him as a character wasn't my thing all the time. When he ran through all the Nexus or Sheamus ran away looking for him, like, where's Cena? Like, moments like that ruined. There are some matches he won that I was like, And I think Roman suffered from the same thing where when you feel like the machine is pushing the person so hard and you know it and you can pick up on it, you turn to dislike that guy. Cena didn't ever do this Roman thing. He never turned heel. He didn't do the Rock thing when people start bringing turn heel. Roman fed into it exactly what we wanted him to do. Like, just come back and be like, F the fans. I tried for you guys and you guys boo me, F you. And that's what he did. And we're like, yeah. Like, I don't know what the psychology is behind that. But yeah. I love it. But Cena never did that. I think that's why as a wrestler, and now honestly I'm older, and like you said, I see the industry different. I've been doing this wrestling class for 10 years. I made a lot of connections and friendships and relationships with people within the industry. So I can't. It's hard for me to even have an opinion on things sometimes these days because I'm just like, I want everyone to get paid, and I'm gonna watch it regardless of the fact. But
facts.
I'm more intrigued to see how you react. It's entertaining to me now, but I will respect Cena's work ethic forever. I just think it's almost like I'm such a baby face on Instagram that my one heel thing is that I don't like Cena, and it's become like a gimmick now.
We all got our one, so I get it. I
Yeah.
respect it. I respect
But
that
like,
move.
let me ask you this: for someone that's obviously been a part of the entertainment industry, been in movies, TV shows, all that music, you've seen all sorts of different production. How you made your own Powerline production. How do you feel when you see things like we've seen recently, like that whole Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns segment that was cinematic? They met at the Atlanta football field there. They had the face to face. When you see stuff like that in wrestling, are you like, oh, this is cool, or do you like, wait a minute, this isn't very wrestling?
It's because it's so different, and they're trying new things. And I think that's always really cool when it comes to a product like the WWE, which is, we got the TKO thing now. Like it's a machine that has always been huge, but it's never been bigger than what it is today. So I like that them trying. I like the new version of trying these little different things to keep people intrigued. Get the storyline going in this way. It didn't bother me. They haven't done it since, so maybe it didn't go. Maybe it wasn't the reaction. They looked at it like, cool. Well, let's go back to how we normally do things.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the last time that we're going to see them trying new stuff. I mean, even just on the last, I think it was SmackDown, and Randy calling out Hunter, and then we get the overhead cam of Trips and Gorilla with the headphones on. Like, all right, well, all right. Like,
See, I don't mind that so much, but I don't mind the cinematic stuff too. Like, I didn't actually mind the segment. I'm like, as a production, they did great. There's some things that, like, they didn't need to roll up in their cars or anything like that, but
and then have them both walk.
Yeah. I'm like, if this was like a separate thing that we heard, like, oh, this happened earlier today, and it was a little bit less produced, I would believe it more. I'm like, it seemed like it was overly produced, and I'm like, just me as an old school wrestling fan, I'm like, maybe I'm that old guy that's like, oh, like, this would have been better if this was just in the ring with an audience that could react off of it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. A matter of circumstances. You get the venue. You have the production team that can do stuff like that. It's a great. I'm like, but it just felt like a scripted movie. Like, it felt like it came out of Fast and the Furious instead of like, hey, wrestling, like pro wrestling, which was, But I think it was cool. I just wanted to pick your brain on that because
it makes me wonder, like, with the Netflix deal coming up, right? Like, WWE is going to be able to do a lot more than just have a live show. They can go and play in some original content spaces. They can have Cody Rhodes in the starring as this. They can have Roman starring as this. Zelina starring as this. Rhea starring as in this product. Like
Yeah.
I think was maybe just the foundation of what they could potentially spin off and start doing.
That's what I was gonna say. That's actually not a bad idea. That I think that, like, if that was something that was like, hey, coming out this Saturday at this time, face off between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, can they coexist? And that was its own separate thing that you had to tune in and watch. And then they just replayed it on SmackDown. Like, hey, this is what came out. Maybe it would have hit different, but they tried to make it seem like this is happening in real time. And they met up in this thing, and Roman rolled up with like 6 SUVs, and they met in the middle of the field and had this very serious conversation. I'm like, it's crazy because you can suspend your disbelief for like movies and film in a different way, but you do it differently with wrestling. The thing with wrestling is like, you're supposed, what's going on, but you want to believe that it's real.
Yeah.
It just felt a little weird in that sense. Did you ever have a time in your life where you fell out of wrestling? Because I feel like everyone has like a period with like, oh, I didn't watch that much during this period.
Yeah, during the real Cena run, the era that you mentioned, when I remember not even knowing about Nexus, not knowing who the hell Wade Barrett was. Yeah, that was an era for me that I kind of just glanced over. And then I'm in the studio one day, and my best friend pulls up the live stream, and it's the pay-per-view. I can't remember which one, but I started watching over his shoulder, and I was like, wait, do I love this again? Like, immediately grabbed me again. So yeah,
what was it that you watched that brought you back in? What was it particularly? Do you remember specifically?
I think it was something. I think it was the Wyatts. I'm pretty sure it was the Wyatts, because then we started watching NXT like every single time that was on, and seeing Wyatt, seeing Bray get in there and cut these crazy promos and just talk wild. I'm like, what is this guy? So the Wyatts pulled me back in. The Shield pulled me back in. The 4 Horsewomen era of NXT pulled me back in for sure. So yeah, that's what really wrapped me back in for sure.
I'm gonna put you on the spotlight, kind of a question that it's tough to answer sometimes. Rank the 4 Horsewomen.
Woo! Rank the 4 Horsewomen.
Obviously,
Charlotte,
it's subjective and it's your opinion, but rank them as from your favorite to like your least favorite. All four of them are dope. We all
yeah,
understand that. But if you had to rank them for yourself,
Charlotte number one for me because Jesus Christ, can that woman like do everything? It's scary. She does
yeah,
everything good. So Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Becky. If
okay,
I'm doing it in the 4 horsewomen era, that's my 4 in that rank.
fair enough, fair enough. I
Yeah.
think mine's similar. Becky and Bailey, it's the same thing. But for me, I just think Sasha would be first because there's I don't know something I watch it. So in Canada, we had NXT since like the inception, since it went from game show to like developmental. And I felt like that was one of the first characters on that roster on NXT. Like she started like I feel like Charlotte found herself a lot on the main roster, and even more in the last 5 years, 6 years. Like she really like found herself fully feeling herself. But like Sasha was feeling herself in like 2014, 15. Like she knew like
Whoa,
that confidence
whoa.
that she had their character down. And I was like, and I think, and I was, I always say with women's wrestling, because similar to you, 2007, 2011 kind of fell out of it. Watch Raw on Mondays, didn't watch all the pay-per-views. They moved SmackDown to Fridays, which was kind of difficult. I was still going out and doing stuff and pre-PVR, DVR, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to catch the Undertaker segment if that was anything for me. Caught a little bits of the Jeff Hardy Punk feud, but didn't watch it every weekend. And it's the same issue with women's wrestling. I'm like, oh, I remember like Trish, Lita, Victoria, Molly Holly, and then I know all the girls that were there. I know all the Michelle McCools and the Laylas and all this stuff happened, and I could tell you who was champions, but I couldn't tell you who beat who or when they beat them or any of that. There's 3 things that happened. There was Total Divas, whether you loved it or hate it. I used to watch with my ex-girlfriend. Made me like get into like the women's wrestling. Like, oh, these girls are cool. Like, I know them. This is like a cool show that now makes me like, well, I want to watch Bellas. I want to watch these people.
Real ones.
There was AJ Lee. She was so involved in the men's storylines and stuff with Punk and Bryan that when she beat Caitlyn for that Divas Championship, I was following along. I was there for it from that moment forward. I could tell you every champion. And then it was NXT. It was like Paige and Emma, and then all these girls started coming up. And Sasha was the one who I'm like, for the first time in a very long time, I enjoy watching her wrestle. Like I enjoy watching her wrestling matches. Like she's a fun wrestler to watch as a women's wrestler. So I would say Sasha, Charlotte, and then Becky and Bailey are like they can flip flop as much as they want on the given year. But yeah,
When you talk about the Sasha Banks era at NXT, like immediately connecting with the fact that she believed, like she was all in, and I mean that damn NXT Brooklyn match, that takeover match between her and Bailey, like that. I've watched that match like at least 100 times.
That's still my favorite women's match.
They beat the hell out of each other, and the crowd and the it was perfection.
Yeah, and like that was the thing about NXT, that there was those women down that were getting time and they were doing things that we didn't see the women on the main roster doing. And I feel like that Brooklyn match puts such a spotlight on it for even the people that weren't watching NXT weekly. Like, whoa, what are the girls doing down here? Like, that's insane. And they told a story and they broke it down and they came in there with the beef and they had big entrance. It was great. My favorite women's match. There's been so many good ones since. Like I still think I almost still think WrestleMania 32 could have main evented with Sasha versus Charlotte and Becky, and people would have been hyped for it. They would have been hyped for it over Roman Triple H. It still would have been hyped for it because that match was exciting for everybody. That's crazy. Ranking the 4 horsewomen is always hard. How close have you been with maybe or potentially working with the WWE? Because I've seen you do stuff with them. I remember being in some crazy stream where everybody was hopping in 2020, and then you popped up in there too, and I was like, Ric Flair and Caleb Braxton and this person and that person. I'm like, Khleo.
Yeah, I remember that. Yo, shout out to Caleb Braxton, man. She hit me randomly during the lockdown, and she was just like, yo, come and join this stream. And I pull up, and I'm like, Ric Flair? What are we doing here? Oh man, I've had the chance.
I was like, what is Khleo cooking here? I'm like, is he in? Like, what's happening?
Man, I'm putting in my tape, bro. I'm trying to put my tape in early, bro. I've had the chance to work with WWE in a few things when they've come to LA. Like they had they're in Anaheim, and I went to the SmackDown taping, I believe. No, I think it was Raw, but they had me come backstage to shoot this cool awesome, I think it's like Awesome Moments. Their series that I believe is on A&E, one of the networks. And it was like top 25 SmackDown moments. And I really walked into that interview like, oh no, like I'm going to show how much I love this and how much I care. And I'm bringing up this moment, and then help set up the selling of the Cody Rhodes and Roman feud. Like I just ripped.
Yeah.
And it's been great, man. We've had a great conversation since. And hey man, listen, if we shall see how it plays out.
I'm saying, man, they could, but maybe they want a late night show on Netflix, and you can bring that Arsenio Hall vibe, because that is some of my favorite clips to watch till this day, is going to watch Arsenio Hall interview wrestlers, because he seemed like he was a fan, and they were always fun. Like, he was interviewing Savage and Warrior and Hogan, and like he was all about it. And like, it's not like now where, no disrespect to like I need a late night host now, but like, most wrestlers go on Jimmy Fallon. It's like he's asking questions about wrestling like he doesn't really watch it, whereas like Arsenio was about it. Like, he knew the characters, how to let them come on there as their characters, and like show them and play along with it. And that stuff was great,
That would be my plan, bro. That would be my play for sure. I think there's a way to connect an audience who may not be fully understanding or immersed in that world. And when you have the wrestler there with you, you can show them, you can try to highlight all aspects of them. But if you and the wrestler are having a conversation based off a storyline with this other guy, that's only going to intrigue the audience more of like, wait, what do you mean they got into a back? They fought in the back. Yeah. What do you mean he went to the roof? Like, for instance, with just this last yesterday with Seth and Big Bronson Reed going at it, which was a lot of work. That was a lot of work that got put into that match, or just that setup for these two to go at it at Crown Jewel. They will be fighting at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, so, Crown Jewel. Yeah.
Got to see it.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you. Right, let's go back to a little bit of the entertainment that stuff. Walking Tall. You got to work with The Rock.
Yeah,
you were a fan. You were a fan of professional wrestling. The Rock is one of your top guys. Still is 1A, 1B. He's up there. And then you got to be in a film with The Rock, and like one of his first films when he was trying to break out into the Hollywood stuff, outside of The Mummy and all that Scorpion King stuff. It was Walking Tall. How do you feel about that? What's the experience like?
Forever grateful, man. Forever grateful, because we got a chance to go shoot Walking Tall in Vancouver, Canada. It was summer vacation, so that means my brothers came up.
That's where I'm from. Yeah.
Vancouver. We had a blast in Vancouver that summer, man. We were playing Final Fantasy X. That's what me and my brother Kadeem were playing, and we is it Whistler? Is that the name of the spot that's up there?
Whistler. It's where everyone goes skiing and snowboarding. Yeah.
Yep. We took a trip up to Whistler while we were out there, and it was just so much fun, man. There was in the original script, I was supposed to ride my motocross bike through a window and knock out one of the guys attacking my mom. And that would have been the coolest thing ever for sure. That part got cut because I believe they couldn't find a stuntman as small as me to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
But so much fun shooting Walking Tall, man. Forever grateful for it, because like you mentioned, this was one of the first early films of Rock doing the work to be able to become the box office draw that he became 20 plus years down the line. People don't know, people don't remember all of the things that helped lead to where that is. There's Walking Tall, there's The Rundown, there's Doom. I think it's a movie where he was like a truck driver dad or something like that, and he had to get revenge for his son. Like, there's a lot of little roles in there that helped sharpen the tool to make him the megastar that he became. And he was destined to be. Let's be honest. He was destined for that. When you go back and you watch the Attitude Era Rock, you knew he knew. So this is my thing, Justin. You got to remember, Hollywood saw this, right? Hollywood saw how good this guy looked, and he was able to be in an arena full of people and command a level of attention. And they still couldn't figure out how to make it work for him out the gate early on as the actor, even with all that power in arenas around the world. I think it's a crazy testament to the work that had to get put in for it to be able to work in the future. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me tell you about, and I do want to hear a story about you and The Rock from that time, but I want to talk about what you just talked about right now, because I have this conversation with people all the time, especially now. I'm 33. You said you're 35. I'm 33 in a couple of days, but you're 35, and we're like on that we're like that older spectrum of like the content creators, in a sense, where there's a lot of like young 20-year-olds and 22-year-olds, 23, 24, whatever year olds getting into the stuff and want to do it, right? And There is, I think, I don't know, maybe we're a little different because we grew up without this stuff. So we're like, oh, this is cool. Let's see what we can make out of it. But we also like didn't have this stuff and we're okay with that too. And playing outside and being something on social media wasn't the end all be all when we were kids. For this next generation, I think that's the thing they saw. They see the Logan Pauls and the YouTubers of the world. Like, I want to do that, something I can do. And then there's this thing of wanting instant gratification. And I've had conversations with many people where I was like, look at some of your favorite people, your biggest celebrities that you know, the people that you're looking up to, and actually like learn about their journey, because there's going to be a whole bunch of years that you didn't even know that they were struggling, they were grinding, they were trying and failing, trying and failing, trying and failing. And hell, even when they're big and they're making all the money, they're still trying and failing, trying and failing, and then realize that this just doesn't happen overnight. Like, you might get lucky in certain situations, you might have a burst of luck here or there. Like, I think in my case, I was very lucky that I decided that, hey, I want to make a wrestling page on Instagram rather than anywhere else, because Instagram was newer at that point. I jumped on it early, 2014. Like, wasn't so many wrestling pages. Let me do what everybody else isn't doing. Let me learn how to do the stuff that other people don't know how to do and put that on my page. So that's a thing. Or like now for a lot of the younger people, it's a situation of like, hey, WWE and AEW have actually opened their doors to let like content creators and Twitch streamers come in there as media. Where like when I started this stuff from like 2014 to like at least 2020, like until AEW started, like that wasn't even the radio, TV, or you have to be some sort of public figure. Like otherwise, no, like you're not approved. Like, dude, I went through a bunch of years getting denied until they finally said yes. I'm like, you guys are lucky you skipped that part and now you're at this part. But tell me how you think about the idea of like, people don't realize, like, we look at The Rock and we see The Rock being this biggest global superstar, highest paid actor. And I feel like a lot of that happened around like 2015, 16. Nobody accounts for 2001 all the way to 2015, where it was hit or miss, some highs, some lows, not the biggest actor in the world, movies flopping left, right, and center, you know?
Yeah.
He stayed consistent on that work. What do you think about that whole concept of like, maybe people don't realize the years it takes to get somewhere? They just think, you know, overnight success is the way things are supposed to work. That's a long-winded way to ask a question, but yeah.
No, but we're setting it up like that because that's really the truth of it all. It's like you mentioned instant gratification, yeah, through social media, like that really did screw with a lot of people's heads. You know, that and then the numbers aspect and like, you know, man, I gotta hit 1 million. Man, I gotta hit. For me, I made sure to cross that off the line immediately. I was like, I'm never gonna do this stuff for just the sake of the numbers. Like this didn't, like I said, that didn't come till wait. That didn't come till this year. Right?
Yeah. But it makes it so much sweeter because all the time you put into it knowing authentically. Go ahead, sorry.
Bingo. It's that for me. It's like being able to know that it's never going to come overnight. And I think it's different for somebody like me because I told my mom I wanted to be an actor at 5 years old, and audition after audition, I heard 1,000 no's before I ever heard one yes. Now, mind you, after you get your one yes, you're not guaranteed another or another or another or another. There's going to be 3,000 more no's before you get to another yes. So like me personally, I was built with a different, thicker skin because I've been doing it since I was 5. So you think of just the average person jumping into this world now, though, it is a whirlwind. The internet will pump their heads up and their hearts up to think that they're bulletproof. Like I could, okay. I just saw something not too long ago. And it was one of the streamers, I believe, from AMP. Big shout out to Zero, man. Big love agent. I got a chance to work with him on a Creed project. And he's at, I believe, the Colorado game. And security walks up to him and is like, yo, you can't be vlogging down here. And he's like, but I have a media vest on. He's like, yeah, but you're not media. The security's getting at him like that. He's like, yeah, but you're not media. He was like, what's the difference between me with a media with the camera there and what they're doing here? And it was very interesting for me to see because that guy alone, Zero alone, is a name that is synonymous with Kai Cenat, who's out there doing all these incredible activations, incredible streamer, incredible following. People love this guy. And for him to be in that situation, be live streaming and have to have that interaction with a security guard, it's just proof that even with it all, there's still rooms and moments that you're going to have to deal with simply because you're not big enough or you're not known enough. That guy's not walking up to Rock. First of all, that security guard's not even getting close enough to the Rock. Yeah. But that guy alone with what's been built in the battery in his back and this entertainment and social media, He feels he may feel he shouldn't have to deal with that shit, and he's right. He's right. For that guy, for the security guy wrong for pulling up on him thinking he's not media because it's YouTube. I'm sorry, brother. You don't know what the hell media is. You need to take your ass back to security school, my G.
It's crazy though, right? Because that's actually full circle. So one thing for sure is that you pointed out there before I jump to the next thing I was about to say is that you do have to have a thick skin. And I think a lot of people like that's the one thing. If you come to this, like you need to have a thick skin. I'm like, I don't know what changes society. I don't know if everybody passes or gets participation nowadays or something, but I think because our generation was a lot of you failed. Like you were not good. You just were not good. Like, and we were at or like the concept. And I'm not saying I understand. I'm all about anti-bullying, but like the bullying between friends and like the dogging on each other and stuff, and growing up in that atmosphere of playing outside until the streetlights came on, and you're with your boys and you're all bugging each other, and it's what I mean. Like I think all of that let us grow up with a thicker skin because I mean, till this day, like till this very day, people like I'm giving away Survivor Series tickets here in Vancouver. I got 2 tickets. I'm giving them away. Going to be announced November 16th or something. And everyone's like, "Do you have tickets?" I'm like, "No, I'm banking on getting media." But I'm like, I also don't know if I'm gonna get it. I'm saying that. Like, I'm like, they could just say no. I don't know, but like, hopefully I get it because I'm self-aware that like I don't feel like I'm entitled to anything. There's a sense of entitlement I feel like nowadays. Someone's like, "Well, I have 100,000 followers. Like, I should be like, no, like." That's not how I have 500,000. I still don't get stuff I should probably be getting. So like, it's just not the way it works. Like,
I can't get with it. I wish
yeah.
I could adopt a bit of entitlement, just a bit.
Yeah.
Because how they move, how the people who operate with that mindset move. I don't want to call it
I feel like sometimes I'm too humble for wrestling. Sometimes I think I'm too nice and I get screwed over all the time because I'm too nice. And I don't get offended by getting screwed over. I just like I know it's because I'm too nice. And I've had enough people that are doing stuff like Justin, stop being humble. You're him, like stop. And I'm like, it's hard for me to have that mentality sometimes.
Because it's not, you ain't built like you wouldn't built to even move in that kind of space or move with that kind of energy. I would much rather move naturally as I am than to try to be as I couldn't move like that. No way. Because I know it would only go up from there in a way that I definitely did not want it to go. So we're in the same boat about it, brother.
Yeah, sometimes when I think about things, I'm like, but I just think it's a different era, and I think people don't consider the amount of years someone did something until they got to a certain point. There's another gentleman, really big interviewer right now, gets all the big names. I was like, he's been doing this since 2008, and he wasn't always getting all the big names. He is now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, bro.
That's what it's years. I'm like, do you think anyone would want to come on my show if I hadn't been running this page since 2014 and they followed it when I was posting clips and they enjoyed that and they're like, oh, we know this guy, we'll do his show. Like, you know what I mean? Do you think like it's because I've been around for so long I have some sort of respect and appreciation from people within the industry just because I've longevity of being around and consistent and being here and being positive, like things come over time. It didn't just like, oh, I got it because I got it, like, or I knew the right person. Sometimes that helps. Like, sometimes you'll know the right person, right timing, they need you, sure. But most of the time it's because I've been around, like, I put in the time, and I think people don't do that. And a full circle, what we talked about earlier, when you brought up that media story, and like that guy's like, you're not media, is we are in a very transitional period. Like, if you try to become a content creator from, I would say, like 2010 to now, there's a big transitional period where like old entertainment is realizing this content creating, Twitch, social media stuff is a form of way to promote and put out there. Like I said, when I started the stuff and I tried to hit up companies like WWE, I wasn't TV, I wasn't on Sirius XM, I wasn't radio, I wasn't in a hot spot, I'm in Vancouver. Like all of that. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I know all of that was kind of pushback on, like, you know what I mean? I mean, we used to talk about how I should move to LA so many times in the past. I'm like, I should probably be down here. Personal circumstances and situations couldn't let me be there fully, but look how much I tried just to, like, you know what I mean? And because it's changing, and now people do look at content creators and YouTubers and stuff like that, Twitch streamers, as like actual real media that you want to go. I mean, I don't want to talk about it at all, but look at this election you guys are having right now, and look at all the shows that they're going on.
Yeah.
All these podcasts that they're
Yep.
Look at all these podcasts that they're going on. And it's all like these comedian-based, influencer-based podcasts. And I'm like, oh, everyone knows now. Society's finally caught up. Like, these are the people.
When you look at Kai Cenat, right? And I saw this maybe maybe 2 months before it became what it became. But I was like, this is the new TRL. His Twitch stream is the new talk show. Period. It's the new 106 in Park. It's the new TRL countdown. You got to go to hhim.
Yeah.
Period.
He has everybody on there. He has everybody on there.
That's what because the platform and what he created is, bro, the eyeballs and the engagement on that are way more than what you're going to go get on Prime, like on the television. On the late, like, bro, it's not the same. You want to reach that audience, you got to go to his show. You got to go to his Twitch stream. Let's Twitch, an online streaming gaming platform. You got to go there.
No, 100%. And he's insane. He's insane. Like the Nicki Minaj, John Cena, Kevin Hart, like everybody's on there. Everybody's on there. And I honestly, I only figured out who he was, like, I want to say like this past year, maybe 2 years. And because I'm in a group chat with a bunch of people and they're always watching and stuff, they go to Kai's channel. Like, I'm like, this is insane. Like, this guy's getting everybody on there. And he started a Twitch stream. Like, so it's like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, yeah, you can do unique, creative things. You can create content. You can build it to be something. But you also got to have a little bit of patience. You got to have a little bit of patience too. I don't know. How long has Kai been doing it for? I don't know. But I'm sure it's been a lot of years.
He came from the YouTube AMP era. So he had been doing the YouTube space stuff anyway. This wasn't just a year in and then boom. No,
because that's what I mean. People will see that. I'm going to start a Twitch channel. I'm going to be like, Kai. It's like, no, there's probably a story behind it. I haven't done the research, but there's probably a story behind it that we don't know.
Yeah, bro. We talked about that at DreamCon. It was like, yo, like, don't, for the people that just see Kai and think like the next day you're about to have an $80,000 deal. Like, that's not how that works. You got to, like, there has to be a foundation set for people to want to come and enjoy the view and want to tune back in, because you see it now, even just with, like, we doom scroll, like, our social media and our brains, our attention span is shot. So you got to be able to build it to keep people wanting to come back and engage.
And changing and having to adapt. I feel like I've had to do a lot from clips to, all right, took down my page, got the page back. What are we gonna do? Put my face out there. Let's do a podcast. Okay. Co-host disappeared. All right, let's just do interviews. It's a pandemic. Like, and now look where we're at, right? Like it's everything, a bunch of swerves and stuff. Really back to wrestling. Last three things. First things first. Any memories with The Rock on the set of Walking Tall?
Man, I've told this story before. Getting a chance to play the SmackDown game on my portable PS1 against Rock. We're on set. It's maybe like the second week, and I'm sitting there in my chair, and he comes over, and I'm like, "Yo, you want to play?" So I hand him a controller. He picks himself. I pick Stone Cold, and obviously he don't play this game, so he had to get stunnered, and that was it. So that was a lot of fun, man. He was extremely nice to my family. My mom had just had my baby sister, maybe like after the first month of us filming, and he sent some flowers down to my mom back in LA, and that meant a lot to me. So things like that, man. He's an incredible guy, incredible human being, and I love everything he's built. And I hope to work with $7 Productions in the future on some more cool stuff.
That'd be awesome. Favorite wrestling interaction, for like the wrestler you met outside of The Rock, wrestler you met that you're like, this interaction was exactly what I thought it would be. Didn't let you down.
Cena. It was for promo for Peacemaker. It was at San Diego Comic-Con. I'll tell you what happened to my leg another day about that. But Cena actually stopped me as we were wrapping up and wanted to let me know, like, hey man, I just want to let you know, like, I appreciate the work you do. And it blew my mind, because I'm like, this is Cena talking. And it could be Cena, but at the same time, nah, like, he let me know beat for beat the things that he has seen and what he's known. And I'm like, damn.
Always trips me out. Always trips me out when that happens, especially when they don't follow you and you don't know if they actually see your stuff. I'm like, oh, I love what you do. I'm like, oh, you actually pay attention.
Yeah, bro. Cena's
like,
one got me for sure.
Yeah.
That, and then, after winning the Mortal Kombat tournament in DreamCon, I had Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston on commentary as it was happening. So after beating everyone, getting the trophy, I ran down to where they were doing commentary at, and we had the impromptu interview live promo cut right between them. And
that's awesome.
But that moment only happens, Justin, because I'm a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
The stage was on the other side of the damn room of the convention center where we were. As soon as I saw the camera cut to where they were, I was like, how much time before the feed gets cut? It's like, we got another 3 minutes. I said, bet. I jumped off the stage and ran all the way around, and you could see Xavier be like, "Oh, we're actually gonna have our champion join us on stage." That moment only happens because I grew up loving wrestling.
What does wrestling mean to you? Like, if you think about an overall scheme of things, like, where does that, like, why are you still a fan? A lot of people question that, like, why is it important to you? You've attended WrestleManias. I remember at one point you tried to be at every one every year. You're like, Justin, you got to be at every one too. Like, where are you at?
It's my I don't even want to call it my guilty pleasure. It's just my pleasure. I love it. I love everything about the characters, the storyline. I love how this product is built, how it's presented, the little things as far as like how the merch is sold, why this slogan works, why this button on this promo meant so much to this guy. It's everything about it. And I've taken so much of it and applied it to just who I am in entertainment. It's a study. It really is just a study of all things emotional. You got your happy moments, you got your sad moments, you got your freaking pissed moment. You got all these little things that help sell the WWE for what it is today, and not just WWE, but all wrestling, everyone. But for me, when I think of like my love for what got me into it, I put everything on the WWE because they did it at a level and still are that is just Disney, if you ask me.
I always compare it to Disney, John. Like, it's basically Disney. It's the Disney of professional wrestling. It's the McDonald's of fast food. It's the brand name everyone knows. You know what I mean? But based off that answer, I'm not saying the alternatives aren't bad. Hey, don't get me wrong, man.
Yeah.
In-N-Out and Shake Shack slap too, but McDonald's is the brand name everyone knows. You know what I mean? Like, not saying those places aren't great. They're amazing, but they're kind of the alternative, and they're in specific areas for specific fans where they're eating McDonald's in China, India, you know what I mean? Like England, it's all over the place, Japan. So that being said, based off the answer, I kind of already know the answer to this question, but I got to ask, are you more of a storyline guy, or are you more storyline character guy, or are you more of the in-ring wrestling guy? They both matter. We like both, but if you had to pick a side, which side do you lean towards more? Does the story and character make you more invested in the wrestling? Or if there's a banger, you're just settled with this banger, even if it's like not filled with everything that you need in terms of story and character?
For me, story and character, I think, come first. I think you don't get to the in-ring to be able to feel all the emotions if it's not there. And it was very interesting for me a couple months ago. I had to like, I was watching, I can't remember which pay-per-view had just passed. But I had to explain to the person who was watching with me, it's like they're telling a story in this match. And they didn't get it. Like, what do you mean? They're just fighting. I was like, no, watch how the match goes. Watch how it proceeds. Watch, okay, now that they're gonna make a comeback at this moment because they did a cheap shot here. And they saw wrestling in a whole new way, to the point where they called me. They called me and because they started watching some old school stuff. And the first question out of their mouth was, hey, is Grandmaster Sexay the king's son? I was like, yeah. Oh. I'm like, you went all the way back and started watching this. So yeah, it means that to me, man. It's about the outside.
No, for sure. I'm the same way, and I think that's so funny. It reminds me of like those memes where like someone will put like a really old like picture of like Luthez and like someone else wrestling. They're like, oh, started wrestling from the beginning. When do we get to like Stone Cold Steve Austin? Started wrestling from the beginning. When do we get to Will Ospreay? Like it's a regular TV show. Like you're gonna go start Grey's Anatomy from the beginning. Like, hey, I'm out here watching Buddy Rogers versus Bruno Sammartino. When do we get to The Rock?
That's funny. That's hilarious to think about. Oh my god, everyone admits to that.
Started watching WWE from day one. I don't know, when do we get to the good stuff? When does a Macho Man show up?
Jeez.
Okay, last two questions, not wrestling related, and we'll wrap this up because this went longer than expected. But we definitely got to do this again and figure out something to do because there's lots to talk about. Just for the other fandoms out there, really quickly, top 5 video games that you'd say you'd recommend people to play.
To recommend people to play, man. Gaming is so interesting because there's so many different little subgenres of gaming now. You know, you got people doing power wash simulators, and I'm like, huh? Yeah. So for me, I could just give you my top 5 games that I play that I co-sign to say that if that you'll have at least a good time playing them. First one up, my favorite, Final Fantasy 7 on the PS1. Absolutely, forever gonna co-sign that. Metal Gear Solid, either the PS1 or Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which is getting ready to have a remake called Metal Gear Solid Delta. You gotta play that. I think it's on the PS2 era. After that, we got throwing Gears of War. Gotta love Gears on the Xbox. Mortal Kombat. Pick a console. If I was gonna choose one, it's either the trilogy, Mortal Kombat trilogy on the PS1, or the current MK1. And after that, last one for me, Smash Bros. You got to throw Smash Brothers up there. Everyone can pick up Smash Bros and have a good time. Love Smash Bros.
For sure. Last but not least, I ask this to everybody at the end of the show. You created your own whole world around you. You've created a whole universe of your own. So I feel like I already know the answer, but do you feel like you've made your younger self proud? If you wouldn't go talk to like 10-year-old Khleo, would you be like, damn, we still like all this stuff?
Man. Talking to 10 years ago Khleo, or 10-year-old Khleo?
10-year-old Khleo.
Oh, 10-year-old Khleo. Yeah, I'm living 10-year-old Kleo's dream. Like no BS, man. It's you know what? Quick story for you about that.
Yeah.
This actual arcade cabinet, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So 10-year-old Khleo is technically 5th grade. No, he's not. Sorry. Nope. No, because that's 13 to 14. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2, this arcade cabinet. This is they used to have this game at an arcade down the street from my middle school, and I booked holes the 7th grade year of middle school, and then I never went back to school after that. So my last like real memory of like doing things normally was playing this video game after school at an arcade down the block. So to have this like in my house now is a constant reminder of just how far I've really come. Because like, dog, I used to put a quarter into this machine and get my ass beat by like every Korean kid at my school at John Burroughs Middle School. They used to beat the hell out of me until I finally figured out my team, and then I could start playing back. But yeah, it's that to me. So to answer your question, am I living is would 10-year-old Khleo be proud? 10-year-old Khleo would lose his goddamn mind to see all the stuff that grown Khleo got now.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. We'll definitely run this back sometime soon. Maybe we'll do something else. Maybe we'll do some like WrestleMania predictions or something fun. You know, I'll mix it up.
Listen, bro, we're gonna be at WrestleMania. I need another chair.
Yeah.
Like we need to add another one to this one. This is the Snoop and Miz one up here.
Yeah.
Look at Dominic Mysterio without the mustache. Wow.
Yeah, what a growth of a character in Dominic, eh?
Bro!
From people being like, hey, he needs to go to NXT, like this whole thing with his dad isn't working. I'm like, the moment I saw that prison vignette, I was sold.
Dog. He's good. He's like extremely good at this. I don't like, will he be one of the wrestlers that will never turn face again, ever? Like he will go out as a heel?
He shouldn't. He shouldn't. Unless the only way that happens is if the fans make it happen, right? That's the problem, right? If the fans start cheering him, like that was the Randy Orton problem, right? He was such a good heel that eventually everyone started liking him. Then he had to turn babyface, and then he was like, "Oh no, we want him to be a bad guy again." But like, that's the only way.
Yeah.
Because there was a brief moment there, a brief moment right now, like where prior to what the storyline we're in now, that the Judgment Day was kind of baby facing. Like Rhea and Damien for sure were like baby faces, right? And it's like,
yeah,
they still booed Dom just out of this, like it's a thing you do and it's fun, but like they were kind of baby facing there for a second. But luckily, like they split and they did all that to make that all work. But it's like, look at that, like they got over it. Like people actually started liking the Judgment Day. It was almost inevitable, right? Like, so I can, if the fans make it happen, sure. I don't want to see it though. I like him as a heel. I like it when like the fans start liking him, that he does something so dastardly. Like, you're like, oh crap.
Keep the appeal, bro. He's a great heel, damn near one of the best I've seen in this era. Like he gets it, he lives it, and it's just dope. It's just dope to have it.
I think it was Chris Van Vliet's interview when someone asked him about his dad, and he was like, which one? Which is so funny because he plays off the Eddie thing so much. He plays off the Eddie. He looks like Eddie. He plays off the Eddie. He's more Eddie than he is Ray at this point.
It's so cool. That's what we mean by the stories and the characters help sell everything else. If all you can do is just wrestle, bro, you better figure out how to talk. You better figure out how to get with the program around.
No, for sure. Definitely. Thank you so much. Like I said, I feel like we could keep talking about wrestling. We can talk about another wrestler in a second. I haven't been to California in a second, but I definitely will hit you up when I get back there. There was a time where I would come and I'd make sure I'd hit you up.
Yeah.
That was before my dad passed. Now the trips have been a little short, quick, fast, back and forth, but definitely will hit you up when I'm back down there. And hopefully, if you're ever back in Vancouver, let me know, man.
I got you, brother. Always a pleasure, man. Looking forward to our next time speaking.
Sounds good, bro. Everyone follow Khleo Thomas all over social media. Follow him on Twitch. Follow him on Instagram. Everywhere you can find him, YouTube. And keep doing the thing, everybody. We'll see you all later.
It's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.